Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. I have a special guest with me today, my boy B Stapes. What's up, B?
What's going on, AK?
Hopefully, we might have some more people join us, but today we just wanted to really recap the Bengals season this far up to this quarter. So obviously, we're 4-1. We could start off with today's game, obviously, with it being fresh. B, what was your thoughts on today's game?
Man, it was a emotional roller coaster today for sure, man. But it was definitely a quality win. I mean, to be down by what was it, 17-0, and to come back on a team like the Dolphins that have a 3-1, 3-2 record now. But they were coming in 3-1. That was definitely a quality win, man.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it before we went live, and we were just talking about the moxie of this team, primarily Joe Mixon. Can you talk to a little bit about how Joe Mixon had his impact on this game and what's different between him versus a Jeremy Hill or versus a AJ Green?
I mean, realistically, bro, like Joe Mixon is a firecracker. I mean, right now, looking at him, what he brings to this team, like I'm just thankful for the Bengals front office to be willing to take a risk drafting a kid like him.
Definitely.
I mean, definitely he had his issues coming in, but literally, like that's something of the past, and like he's something that I feel like he's extremely positive for this team. Like, I mean, he's a guy that he's just as happy as if he's making the play versus if somebody else is making the play. And I mean, like having a guy like Jeremy Hill, like man, we've seen this guy on the sideline, arms folded, pouting. Like if Gio is having a day, it don't matter. Mixon's just as happy as if it's him. And
Right.
I mean, just seeing him, what he brings to this offense as an attitude, all the way to what he can do in the open field. And man, it's like I said earlier, like Gio's always been a threat out of the backfield, but he's just that, a threat out of the backfield. Like literally, like if we put Mixon in the slot all the way, man, I wouldn't have an issue seeing him out wide some days. And it's just like
Right.
he's a gamer, bro. And it's like his skill set is today's football. Like if you need to get him running up the middle, running out single back, he can do that. But if you need to split him out wide and he needs to make plays, he's going to do just that, bro. So it's just he's a threat wherever you put him at on the field.
Right. And I think we talked about that too, like him just being a threat anywhere outside of AJ Green. Like you said, AJ Green is always going to be like the primary catalyst for the offense, but
Right.
Joe Mixon I mean, today I just think that it really showed, especially with him having to play where he catches a touchdown once the protection breaks down against Andy. He gets in there for the touchdown, and then he had a 31-yard carry as well. And this was after he kind of struggled in the first half, but the second half was just a totally different kind of game. And like you said, his energy is just infectious. Like it's not even just what he can do on the field, but it's also his energy within the locker room. We also just had my boy Nardo join us. Nardo, we're talking about your boy Joe Mixon, and we're talking about a little bit of the difference that he's made this year as like basically the 1B to the 1A, which is AJ Green. What are your thoughts on Joe Mixon?
Man, he the team cheerleader right now, man. Right now, whatever, pretty much I mean, I don't know. The best way to describe him right now is just he right now the emotional leader for the team though on the offense side. So much energy. He just man, even I just seen the little clip of him walking out the field talking about we 4-1 whatever and everything. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what it is. So he definitely whatever and everything. He's the energy for that side of the ball. So he what I expected what we was gonna get out of him. So I'm glad we got him though.
Gotta get your thoughts too, Nardo, on today's game against Miami. It was a wild one. Me and B were talking before the game. We were just like, man, we were like 14-0. Okay, we still in this game. And then they go up 17-0. And then it's like, okay, what's going to happen? The next thing we know, we up 27-17. What were your thoughts on the game today?
It was like another. I mean, it was a game of emotions, whatever. I didn't necessarily think just because when we was up when they went up 17, whatever, that the game was over. I'm like, all right, saying, halftime adjustments, whatever, we can bounce back, especially after the past 3 weeks been whatever. So I didn't think it was over though, but it just shows that saying, they really don't, they don't have no quit in them though, for real though. They I don't know, man. I think they certified though. I don't think this team is really scared of nobody or nobody, possess a challenge for them that they feel that they can't get over with. And I think right now, we currently the second best team in the AFC right now.
Right. Right. Definitely. Yeah, I think we're only behind Kansas City.
Yep.
B, what were your thoughts?
I
My bad,
mean,
my bad,
man,
Nardo.
like I said earlier, bro, like this year, like I can legit say we're a second half team. And it's like, man, we're coming from like I was talking to one of my man Sean earlier, and like just to have the hope and the understanding to know that I was I was telling him, I was like, bro, like second half we gonna turn up for sure. And like I ain't never ever been able to say that as a Bengals fan, like to go in halftime down and be like, oh yeah, we gonna make the correct adjustments and
Right.
we gonna play with emotion, but yet still play composed football. Like that's the difference this year is like even like the 15 year, like we had that emotion and that rawness, but we didn't play with composure. You feel me? And I think like a lot of it is just the I think a lot of it is the changes we made this offseason in the coaching staff, and it's trickling down to the players. And like you said, like we got guys like Mixon, we got guys like Hubbard, we got guys like Preston Brown that want to be on the Bengals. Like that's something that to me that makes a difference. Guys like Billy Price, they want to be wearing stripes. And
Right.
like of all years, like this is a year like for the longest, I feel like fans only felt like guys like a Burfict or a Pac-Man felt that way. You feel me?
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I totally agree. You definitely just segued into the perfect topic, which is talking about moves that were made in the offseason. I definitely agree with what you said, just piggybacking off what you said. A lot of the players that kind of gravitated towards us from, I guess, the outside perspective was, like you said, that Pac-Man or that Burford guys that were kind of passed on and casted away and kind of found a second home here. We've seen that happen in the past. But
right,
now, like you said, we've got guys like an Adolphus Washington that grew up in the city, that's from
right,
the Natty, from
right,
there, that we've taken in recently. Sam Hubbard, like you said, grew up in the city, was a fan. We brought him in. I mean, before that, you could really only say like some of the only guys that we had from there was like the best that we did was like Huber, the punter.
right,
But
right.
what were you guys' thoughts? And Nardo, we can ask you on this. What were your thoughts about like when the decision was made to bring Marvin Lewis back and every move that happened after that, whether it was free agency or the draft?
Well, I ain't gonna front though. I mean, just everything, just the way things is going, whatever, and everything. Initially, I take it back before the last two games, whatever. The feeling was that that his tenure was coming to an end. But the last two games, and after the last two games, I was like, I don't know. It was just I didn't. I mean, I was like, I can't really close the book on this one. But as far as him being back now, man, I think Mike Brown was right. Right now, he is right. I mean, can't nobody really blame him. Be like, fault him and saying that your idea of bringing him back was wrong, and
Right,
the way that it was handled, as far as him bringing in his coaches, and it's like, well, shit, how long has he been asking for this shit, whatever?
right,
This shit was this shit been going. I mean, but he been asking for this shit for the past 2 years, and he just now
right,
giving it up to him when he's non-contract. But I think, I mean, he so far they did a great. I think they did. Marvin did a good job of picking out his coaching staff, though. I think, I know we was kind of iffy on the laser thing last year just due to his stint with the Dolphins didn't go right and stuff like that. And so far this year, it looks like he's putting together a good plan. I'm still a little iffy on Austin, but I know the defense sometimes it takes a while to groom your scheme as far as on the defensive side. Definitely. I just hate that. I just hate I nick and pick a little shit that he do, such as like if it's 3rd and 3 and we 10 yards off all the fucking receivers. It's like, what the fuck is we doing?
Right.
I just, I nick and pick and stuff like that, whatever. Or, they got receivers got triplets and it's 2 corners over there and you got a linebacker inside and it's like nobody's covering the third man, especially when the third person is Julio. Little things like that, man. I know it's kinks and all, and I hope today was a good way of pushing forward with that. But so far, though, I think, the Marvins think Mike Brown made a good decision, though. All honestly, though, Marvin, I think he's going. I think he's gonna push through this year. And people are gonna say, "Wow, it took him 15 years to win his first playoff game." That's because it ain't gonna have nothing else to talk about.
Right. I think I totally agree with you, especially like when you talked about the laser. I was definitely iffy on laser initially, but I think they made the right decision to give him another year because technically he was using Zampese's offense since we fired Zampese in season. I was definitely glad to move on. I wasn't a real big fan of Paul Gunther. I didn't really like his scheme like that. I wasn't a fan of Paul Alexander. Was ready for him to get out of there because he kept trying to sell us guys like Bodine and Jake Fisher and Cedric Ogbuehi who were trash. Like he just kept making excuses for them. But I agree with you. Like it's just crazy that it took Marvin Lewis, and I think that this was very similar to 2010 when he came back, where he kind of was in a position where he could kind of demand more power. And like you said, it was like when he came back, different moves were being made. Preston Brown was signed. Like Pac-Man Jones was cut, which was crazy because we all know that Mike Brown was in love with Pac-Man Jones. Like no matter what the issue was, it was kind of similar to like Chris Henry. Rest in peace, Chris Henry. I love Slim, but it was like certain players that Mike Brown favored. He kind of overruled Marvin on those. Like everybody knows.
Marvin was close to Pac-Man too. He was in his wedding, so
right.
For them to release him, that was a huge move. Whatever that it was huge that they was able to, not have they feelings within the business. Even though I wish that we still would have worked something out that we could have brought him back on a maybe a year deal or something.
Yeah, like that. Man.
Definitely.
I can't fake. That was one of the moves I didn't like was losing Pac-Man. Like when you talk about. I think he's just one of them guys. When you say a Cincinnati Bengal, Pac-Man Jones is one of the first people that just pop in my mind. Like, I feel like really realistically, like that in depth-wise corner, I was like, bro, that was a hell of a roll of the dice. And I still say that because, like, even when we let Pac-Man go, like, I just knew Kavari Russell and guys like that were going to make the team. And to see them leave as well, I was like, damn, like, what's going on for real? So, I think Austin got the guys that who he wants on that team. And, like, seeing my man, the safety go, Georgia Loka,
that was big too, right?
Yeah, bro. Like, and I think that was really proof of Austin going to have what he wants and who he wants in that locker room, and that's what it's going to be.
Well, I think the thing with Pac-Man was I think they actually wanted to keep Pac-Man. It was just that they didn't want to pay him at that number, and it also was a thing. If y'all remember back during that period, they wanted to bring him back, but they told him that he wouldn't be a starter. They were saying that they were going to start William Jackson III. They was going to start Denard in the slot, and they was going to start Dre on the outside. So it was like, we still want you back, but you can't have that starter role. And I remember Adam was like, okay, I'll see what's out there, but I would prefer to start. So they kind of low-key left it in his court, but it was one of those things, I think, where, like, just looking back at some of our older players, like who am I thinking of? Robert Geathers, right? Robert Geathers was there, but you had an obvious dude that had more potential and was younger there that should have started over him. And in the past, Marvin has been like, nah, we're going to keep the veteran there and we're going to kind of stunt the growth of the other dude. And we kind of got locked into a situation. Same thing with Drake Kirkpatrick, where you had to wait until like the last year of this dude's rookie contract to kind of see exactly where he stood. So I think that's what kind of changed for me, not just at that position with just Pac-Man. You look at the offensive side and you look at Brandon LaFell. They love Brandon LaFell as a leader and as a player and all of that, but it's like we need to see what we have in John Ross. We need to see what we have in Tyler Boyd. We cool with keeping you, but we can't keep you and then have to cut somebody like an Auden Tate or something like that. So I think this was the first year, which is crazy that we're saying this because we come from the school of thought that Marvin doesn't want to play young players. It was like it completely changed this year. Like Sam Hubbard is actually in there getting snaps. Like this is like wow. Like I've never seen anything happen like this.
Yep.
Right. Like Michael Johnson still stayed, but the thing is, we're seeing guys like Sam Hubbard and Jordan Willis and Carl Lawson actually getting a big share of the snaps. It's not like these veterans are just taking over. Like I just really think of the Domata Picos of the world that we've had before, and it's like you got Andrew Billings sitting there. Why isn't he getting snaps?
Right. And I'll be the first to say, like, it's an overall youth movement to the roster. Like, and I think, like, as soon as you see the interviews, you can tell that it's really a different locker room. And it's like the young guys are they're actually contributing. And it's not that, like, for years, it just looked like our rookies and second-year guys would just have a black-ass cloud over their head or something, man, to where it's just like, you know that no matter what you do in practice or what you do in preseason, you're not going to play. And it's like now if you're a veteran, like, man, you walking on thin ice.
Right.
And it's like I love the youth movement all in general, except for bum ass Hardy Nickerson, man. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like that's the only young guy I'd be like, man, let Vinny Ray play, because like I can't. That's the only guy that's the only player really that I'm just like, outside of maybe Hart on the offensive line, that I'm just like, man, like, bro, we gotta put anybody in. Like, I just hate to see dude even come in now.
It's crazy that you say that because I almost low-key forgot that we still have Vinny Ray on the roster healthy, and he did not touch the field today.
Vinny Ray can't sniff the field, bro.
That's wild. They must have him on special teams or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, y'all, what's the it's the huge evolution for this year so far as whatever, and people ain't really talking about it though. Is that the first 3 games, whatever, and everything, we've been carried by Andy Dalton, but nobody's really talking about it.
Yeah,
Riley, whatever, and everything, he's carried his team, whatever, for the past 3 games. Today was the first game that he finally, the defense finally showed up, was able to help close out a game. That they kind of, the offense wasn't firing on all cylinders. But Riley, dude, been carrying it for the last 3 games, whatever. His composure, I don't know if it's the new quarterback coach, whatever, but I mean, he showed his delivery. It looks like his mechanics is a whole lot cleaner this year too.
Right.
He did good in 2015. Don't get me wrong. He was on fire then. But right now, this whole running, scramble and throw shit is a whole nother ballpark that's going on. That's like, all right, now it seems like it's part of it's a part of his it's a part of his thing now to do. All right, I can start going run and I can deliver.
Right.
Yeah, man. I think like, my opinion with it is, hey, chill. My opinion of it is it's kind of like one of them things when you draft a small school quarterback, to where they don't. I think these last 2 years of just him not having a Whitworth, not having Zeitler and guys like that, like, he's really learned how to have to play with his back against the wall. And it's like now it's to the point where you bring in Cordy Glenn after these 2 years, and you bring in Billy Price, and you don't have basically the line collapsing on your right side, your left side, and up the middle, to where now it's like he can be the veteran that he is, and it's you can see he's just settled in. Like it's his second year with Laser, and we don't have the best right side, but it's like they're not just getting flat out killed like we've been the past 2 years. And I think that's been like a big difference with him. And now it's just, I think he's got a quicker release. He can play better on the move, because shit, the past 2 years he been running for his life, man. Like, real talk. So I think naturally it's matured his game. So I think like we looking at the veteran quarterback. Like, this is why you give guys 5 years, 7 years to come in there and grow into a real NFL quarterback. And that's what Dalton's showing now.
And I totally agree, because you got to think we had a nice portion of our fan base that was saying, hey, maybe we need to draft Lamar Jackson. Maybe we need to be looking at a quarterback in this past draft. And then for Marvin and them to tell everybody, like, nah, we got our man, whatever. We know what we got. Everybody else on the outside, y'all think that, but we know what we got here. Once again, it shows that Marvin was right. He was right.
Marvin had to shut down the AKs of the world, man, because I know he definitely was he was definitely vouching for anybody to come in over Dalton. But what I was saying the past 2 years was, I wasn't against us looking at another quarterback, but I was like, bro, whoever you bringing in here, you throwing their ass into the flames, because, bro, that offensive line, like, there's no way that something can be ranked either 32nd or 30th in the league, and you don't think that that's the problem. Like, there's no way. Like, I was looking at guys like, and you know the Real Talk. I love the group Bengals Real Talk. I love the group, but you bring some dummies out there too, and it's like you can't just tell me that you're just going to overlook an offensive line that's ranked worse in the league and say bring a rookie in because he got some legs. Like, them legs gonna get broke playing behind that.
I think for me, I was thinking that. So this was my mindset. I wanted Lamar Jackson, which was, I felt like a guy that would be in reach. I wasn't really on the Baker Mayfield train. I didn't really want anybody, honestly, outside of Lamar Jackson. And my thinking was, when you draft Lamar Jackson, that puts Andy kind of like in the position that Joe Flacco's in right now. Right. So we all seen Joe Flacco, right? Joe Flacco is balling his ass off right now. He's looking like 2012 Joe Flacco, and that's because you've got the pressure of that quarterback waiting to take his job. So for me, it was like, okay, if we need to get Andy back to 2015 Andy, we can't have him be comfortable, because I felt like too many times last year you had a guy like A.J. McCarron who almost won us a playoff game, and it was just like, it's not even a competition. I kind of understand that, because it's like you don't want to mess with Andy Dalton's psyche, but I felt like sometimes last year that they did that to the detriment of the team. So I felt like you draft Lamar Jackson not to just throw him in immediately, but to send Andy a message like, all right, if you don't get right this year, then you know what I'm saying, we're moving on. You look at the Chiefs last year, they had Alex Smith. They didn't have a reason to go up and get Pat Mahomes, but they did. And what happened? Alex Smith had an MVP year. So that was my thinking behind that. And then when you talk about the offensive line, a lot of teams, including the Texans last year when Deshaun Watson was balling out, their offensive line was trash too. So my thinking behind that was, if you have a trash offensive line, something that you could compensate for that would be to have a mobile quarterback that can kind of move out of the way versus – and I mean, Andy Dalton is more athletic than we get him credit for, because to be honest with you, even though we have brought in Cordy Glenn and all of that, I still feel like he's faced a lot of pressure this year. And to me, he's definitely stepped up and responded differently to it this year than he did last year. Like last year, there were times where I felt like we were in games and it would be a fourth down and he would throw it out of bounds or something like that. This year, just like we talked about the mixing play, he's making that play. He's like, nah, I'm not throwing this out of bounds. I'm not giving up on this play. So that's the Andy that I wanted to see last year. That was the only reason that I even thought about, okay, let's possibly bring somebody in here to really like pull his coat. That was the only reason for me. But I totally agree with you. Like, you have to have some sort of offensive line in place, like you said. But I think even though we made those improvements, it's definitely not as bad. But Cordy Glenn has kind of struggled these last 2 or 3 games, and Bobby Hart has been kind of trash. But Andy, even when that stuff breaks down, it's like there's so many plays that I can point to that were different from last year. Like, you talk about in the Falcons game where the guy gets in the backfield and he's getting ready to try to throw it with his arm and still holds on to it and make sure dude doesn't get it. It's another play where he makes sure that he's moving his arm forward so it's not considered a fumble. I don't feel like he was making those plays the year before, but he's definitely taking those steps. And I'll be the first to give him credit because, like, going into 2015, I was down on Andy. I was talking about him then. And then when he bought out in 2015, I was like, all right, I got to give it to him. But I think 2018, I think this dude might be playing his best football ever. Like, I think it's better than what he did in 2013 and what he did in 2015.
I agree. I think so too. It was just my whole argument last year with people when they were saying the whole quarterback, and I think the reason why it made sense for Baltimore offensive line wasn't in flux like ours is, right? It was the past couple of years, so they could they could roll that dice and take a quarterback. And it's for us, whatever, due to how scarce offensive lineman is right now. It just we gonna go with a quarterback and then try to produce something out of the second or third round when we just went down the whole road with two with Cedric Booty and Jake Fisher, whatever.
Right?
So are we really gonna take that chance, whatever? So to me it was like, man, you damn near almost got to go with a sure thing, somebody that's proven in college and shit, whatever, to even try to have somebody step in, whatever. So, but I think I agree with you. I think this probably his best. I think it's the best football that he's currently playing right now. He doesn't seem intimidated by anything right now.
Nah,
today for him to get he got grabbed up a couple times today, and the way he swiggled his ass out of that and still continue to do what he got to do, it's just a testament to his thing, whatever. And like Joe Mix say in this little after the game comments, he said, I got my quarterback running around here dropping dimes and everything. Man, I don't know.
Right.
He telling me, man, I don't know what's going on. But we 4-1 though, so
right.
Andy is on one this year, and I think one thing that I will say, I agree with you too on the offensive line thing, because I really didn't want us to jump out of the window and take Mike McGlinchey at number 9. I didn't think that he was worth it. I think, like you said, you playing Russian roulette just because these linemen now, they come out of these spread systems, and low key, when you look at the last couple drafts, a lot of those dudes haven't panned out. But I think Andy, when you look at the position that they put him in, right? Like, so they went out and they got a new offensive line coach. They went and got Cordy Glenn. He needed a left tackle. Just mentally, he needed to have somebody else there. He had to know, like, Cedric Ogbuehi isn't protecting my blind side. Then not only after that, they went out and they got Aaron Rodgers quarterback coach. And I was like, oh, that's when I knew it was going to be some major changes. And then they go to, like, we heard little tidbits of this new offense. So that's another thing that we kind of left out is not only is he playing at an elite level, in my opinion, right now, he's doing that in the first year of a brand new offense. So they went out and got all of these tools. They went out and got the Cowboys offensive line coach. I feel like they did the best thing for him and put him in the best position to have the year that he's having now. And I think when you look at it, honestly, like, some people might say Tyler Boyd is having a great year. Some people might say Joe Mixon. I think it's Andy Dalton. I think it's Andy Dalton because, man, just looking at that play that didn't even count last week, that pass he had to AJ Green should have been a touchdown.
That tight corner.
Yes, that should have been a touchdown.
That was a
that
dime.
They called.
That was
oh
a real
my
live
God.
dime. You know what? I was crazy though. I rewatched the game today, and I looked at that play 4 times today, and I was like, damn. I'm like, that was a tight window. If you look at it though, it's like I mean, no lie, it's literally probably, man. I really don't. I honestly really don't know how he fit that, because AJ had just popped out. Popped out from being side to side with the corner. So how the hell? That was crazy, man. That was crazy. That was a dime. That was a real dime.
That was a super live dime, bro. And like you said, B State, I don't know if it's the mechanics have changed. I don't know what it is, but like AD, I've always put it like this. This team is gonna go as far as Andy Dalton takes us. He's playing like this, like teams, the whole NFL is in trouble if he's playing like this. And I mean, you look at some people might have been mad at the 4 interception game. If you look at that game, like most of those interceptions was ricochets and they weren't his fault. Like even today, like I can't even really get mad at the interception today because number one, Rashad Jones is a beast anyway. He's a Pro Bowl safety. So for him to get in there and deflect it and another dude to pick it, that's not really on Andy. But most of this dude's interceptions this year weren't even his fault. That's what's crazy.
Hey man, it again, I'm sorry, man. It goes back to the O-line again, bro. Like, even with Cordy Glenn, if Cordy Glenn plays bad, like just his build and his size of being that is a huge human being for real. Like, right. And again, like if Cordy Glenn gives a sack up, he's not getting overpowered and nobody's running through him. Like if when Cedric O'Booty is at left tackle, what's the quickest way to a point is straight from point A to point B. And if guys are blowing through guys like Russell Bodine and Cordy and they're going straight through Cedric O'Booty, like, bro, that makes a difference. Like, you can't there is no mechanics when you can't even take a step forward, bro. And I think I think just him having the understanding that guys ain't just going to just get beat off the rip. Like, I think Dalton his confidence is higher. And
just mentally, the fact that you know that this dude ain't blocking for me makes the whole difference in the world.
Like, bro, literally, we had Cedric O'Booty at left tackle. You had Russell Bodine at center. And then you have somebody questionable at right tackle. Like, you got guys coming at you at all angles, bro. And like the past, especially last year, like I've never seen so many balls just thrown out of bounds because dude
he just got frustrated. He just got frustrated. It was just
like he just had no chance. Like to see a guy like AJ Green running down the field and he's mad, like that's a dude that ain't gonna say a word. Like that's one of the only elite receivers that ain't no diva like that. You feel me?
Right. So what do y'all think about the offensive line, like some of the changes that were made? Like I got a question in the chat where somebody was asking if when Billy Price comes back, since Hopkins has been playing so good, should they have Billy Price move back into right guard? Or what do y'all think of the offensive line? Do y'all think that should happen, or what do y'all think?
I think they're gonna plug him right back into his spot though. I think Marvin's one of those people though. You don't lose your position by getting injured. You know, he preached that all the time, whatever. So I'm gonna assume that Billy go right back into his rightful spot though when he come back.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that as well. Like realistically, I mean, for us to see a rookie get plugged into the starting lineup off the rip, like from draft day, like we knew that was Billy Price's spot. And so, like, just with that type of confidence in a player, I don't see Hopkins. I don't see him doing anything. Now, I wouldn't be against kicking Hopkins' ass to that right guard position because Redmond, he ain't showing me nothing right now, bro.
And you can tell. I don't know if y'all follow Billy Price on social media, but you could tell that, like, man, dude is starving to get back on the field.
Oh yeah.
When they asked him, who was at the last week about his checkup on his foot. And he was told that, I just got to, whenever they say whatever, he was kind of pissed about it. And then, you know what I'm saying, for him. And I mean, it just, and from when I was hearing when Mixon was out, Marvin wouldn't even let Mixon go to Carolina. and Mixon was salty about it. He had came to the barbershop that Saturday because he didn't get a chance to fly with the team. And to hear that he was, he was like, man, it's the team. What's that camaraderie as far as with the team is deep, man. It's really deep. People really want to be on the field. They really want to prove their worth. Everybody feel like they got something to prove. And then another mixed piece today was John Ross. I know he been like the beaten dog for fans and stuff, whatever. But his presence on the field means a lot to Laser offense. A lot of people don't really know that. When you got him on there, regardless of whatever they think, teams have to respect his speed. And if he had played today, I do believe he played today, whatever and everything, he probably would have scorched their ass, whatever, because they wouldn't have been able to. You ain't playing with no 8-man in the box with him out there. It just ain't gonna happen.
Right.
It ain't gonna happen.
It's crazy because I don't think Dalton targeted Malone or Core the whole damn day, bro. Like it was like we was playing one man down and we still got it done, bro. But yeah, like you said, like John Ross, like I don't care what nobody says. If you playing safety and you the last line of defense and you got a nigga out there running the 4-2, it's in the back of your mind, dog. Like I don't care. He don't got to be the best of best receivers, but it's just like having a guy like Jacoby Ford or somebody out there. Like I don't care if he's the third receiver, you got to pay attention to a guy that runs a 4-2.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that was a great point because you definitely noticed that today. The thing that I will say too is that also brings it back to Andy Dalton, like the fact that he was able to come out there and basically only really have AJ Green to throw to. Like it got to the point where they had to throw Mixon out there, like you said earlier, and line him up at the receiver position. But it's like I'm watching the broadcast, and it was like basically only AJ Green and Tyler Boyd, and they were double teaming AJ the whole game. Yay. And so like the announcer was like, "Well, Tyler Boyd is having kind of a quiet day," and I was like, "Nah, it doesn't seem like it." But then I looked at his stats, and it was only like 3 catches for 30 yards,
37
like you
yards.
said, 37 yards, and there were no targets, like you said, that I can remember. There could have been, but I don't remember any Josh Malone plays or anything after that.
CJ got off a couple times though.
Yeah, CJ he had some big receptions.
Yeah, CJ Tyler Crawford had got kind of. I don't know if something happened to him, but he did return to the game because I remember seeing him on special teams.
Yeah, he had like a lower leg injury or something, but I did see him later, like you said.
Hey, CJ Uzama, he might be like our certified screen guy this year, bro. Like,
hey,
my man is eating off of them screen passes. Like, it's like a guaranteed first down every time he touch it on them screens.
But
I'm gonna tell you, Gio eat off of them too, though.
Gio
does. Gio does. One thing though that I noticed, I don't know if y'all noticed it, but on that Joe Mixon 31-yard play, did y'all see that block that Mason Shrek sprung on the edge?
Yeah.
He sealed the edge. I seen him when he did
that. that was impressive right there, bro.
Yeah, he did.
But like you said, Nardo, I think that says a lot about the offense, especially with us just losing Tyler Eifert. Like missing Ross is going to be huge, and I think we kind of saw that last year. That was another issue was we didn't have anybody other than AJ Green that was a formidable threat, and for some reason we didn't play Ross like that last year. But when he wasn't there, it was like the other dudes couldn't really do anything. So I totally agree with you on that. But man, I just can't wait to get Ross back. Hopefully we get him back next week at Pittsburgh because I don't know how anybody can really guard this team, bro. Like for us to lose all of those weapons and still like put up as many points as we did against a Miami secondary that was pretty damn good coming into this game. Like
I'm gonna tell you what, that Miami defense ain't bad, man. That's not good defense. Quietly, whatever and everything. I'm gonna give credit when credit due. That was a good defense today, whatever. I know they was missing pieces, but that's a good defense. I think quietly, whatever and everything, they could possibly. I can see how they probably could pop New England, whatever. That's a good ass. That defense is all right. It's all right.
Right.
They are.
Yeah, Minka was looking pretty good out there. I was like, all right, Minka. over there in the I think what they had him playing kind of like a hybrid role. It was kind of like a safety slot corner role for them. It looked like.
They official though. They definitely legit, whatever and everything. It's gonna be interesting to see how they turn out the end of the year as far as over there in that division.
Definitely. B Stapes, you had to say something, right?
I was saying that was a quiet ass 100 yards that AJ Green had too. Also, man, like
right.
Yeah,
it was like I didn't realize, like, it seemed like a lot of them games that we played earlier in the season where he didn't break 100 to that seemed like he did more on them games than he did today. Like he's silent. He had a silent assassin type day again, man. So yeah, that was impressive. But that Miami defense, man, like they definitely got some. I like what they got in their secondary, and with they gonna be electric when they get some of them guys back healthy. So yeah, that was. I think we caught them at a good time also, man.
Right. I got a question for y'all. So far this season, who has been the most impressive rookie to you? I think, to me personally, I think it's between two guys, but
I think Jesse Bates so far starting to turn it up. Whatever he's probably by far my surprise right now because I'm like I wasn't really up on him as far as in college football or whatever, and I ran into maybe one person that was Wake Forest player. They was like, yeah, dude got hands, man, he's solid, whatever. But I think he's starting to start blossoming or whatever and everything. And the past 2 weeks I've been kind of shocked that he will come down and hit too. He ain't scared to hit.
Yes.
He will hit you, whatever and everything. He popped somebody today, whatever. He came
Albert Wilson. Albert Wilson.
He popped somebody today. So I'm like, damn, dude, to come down. He can catch and he'll come down in the box and hit you. So
right.
I think that's right now. I mean, as far as the team, that's my rookie of the year right now so far.
Who you got, B Stapes?
I mean, for me, it's between Hubbard and it's between Bates, man. Like, as you know, I'm a Buckeyes fan, but like, I'm a diehard fan, but I'm honest also, and really, I didn't think Hubbard was going to have the effect that he has in the league, in the NFL, that he did, that he's having so far. Like, I mean, I always thought he was kind of a product of Bosa getting all the attention, and he was kind of just like a one move, like, if I can't overpower you, he wasn't really going to do anything else. So, I mean, I'm impressed by him. And Jesse Bates is like, he's a guy that everybody knew he had the range. Everybody knew he had them ball skills. But I'm impressed, like you said, Nardo, like he'll come down and he'll put some pads on somebody. And it's like, what impressed me the most was last game. It was a couple times. If it wasn't for Bates, Julio was gone. And so it's like, dude is making some quality tackles out there to where he's making tackles that you don't necessarily want him to have to make, but he's still making them. So like that's what I'm impressed about him, because he's not like a big type guy. He's not a large
he ain't
guy.
big at all.
Yeah, so like I'm impressed by his scrappiness and willingness to come up and hit. Like everybody knew he had the ball skills though.
Right. I definitely agree with you. I think it has to be Bates, but another thing that impresses me about Bates is his IQ, because, you know, low key, he's the quarterback of the secondary back there. And he's there was a play today where it was like, I think it was like Sean Williams and Darquez Denard were trying to figure out who to guard, and like they ended up completing the pass, but Jesse Bates was like right there to scoop dude up. And I think that's something that's kind of impressed me too, is you don't really see those mistakes. Like, I know last year I felt like there were a lot of miscommunications that ended up leading to big plays. I don't feel like we kind of see that this year.
I agree. And I mean, a lot of it just was by having two strong safeties in the secondary. like Aloka and Williams, they're looking to put their shoulder on somebody.
That's true.
And, again, like one of the things that I heard from Jesse Bates' coach was like he's a guy that you can put all around the field because like he had some nice return ability in college as well. But his coach was really saying just the way that he can pick apart he can pick apart a playbook and just read a defense, read the offense. So I mean, I think that we're doing a better job of drafting guys that can run and they're athletes and guys that actually have a football IQ, man.
Right. One thing I just want to go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm impressed mostly with not far as base, but Sam his motor. I see Sam run up the damn field like 4 times a day chasing people. I'm like, man, how the hell you get way down there with the he tackling with the secondary,
right?
Dude, motor is crazy, man. Dude, today he got my respect with that because I'm like, damn, man, this is the 3rd time he down there tackling with the secondary, whatever. So he proving his worth. I love everything the intense whatever he bring into the team, and I mean our rotation is slick. We got a slick rotation.
Rotation is nasty. I even seen they had Adolphus Washington in there a couple of plays. Did y'all see that?
Played today. Yep, I did see him play today.
Yeah, man. That's
honestly, good. But hey, man, I'm still wondering, like, are they gonna unleash Thomas Rawls anytime soon, bro?
That's true.
You know what? Right now, the Bengals been running with 2 running backs per game.
Right.
As far as so they can add depth to other positions and stuff like that. I think they're gonna probably stick with that. I think Walton when Gio come back, Walton probably, he may be deactivated for a little while, whatever, when Gio come back. So they probably gonna continue that. Somehow I think Laser comfortable with that 2 running back roles right now. Even with Erickson, the emergency running back.
Right. Erickson, yeah, I like Erickson at the running back spot. That was a slick move against the Falcons.
I didn't even know he could play running back into that game. I'm like, man, they got him out here playing running back.
Hey, that was definitely wild, bro. I seen him get in that backfield. I said, like, hold up, like, I didn't even fake the first thing I thought. I was like, he might end up throwing this ball, but he actually he kept it and took it to the sideline. I was impressed, bro.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed. I think, like you said, I think the whole thing with Rawls is with a dude like Adolphus Washington, since he plays D tackle, I feel like he can kind of slide in a little easier. Maybe they're just trying to get him up to speed with, that offense, because that offense is pretty slick. Yeah, but I agree with you. I kind of do want to see Rawls a little bit. I was kind of intrigued by Mark Walton after that Atlanta game to see what he could do, especially when he put dude in the spin cycle during that game. I kind of wanted to see what he could do with Mixon, but I agree with you. I would definitely like to see what Rawls has, because Rawls still had a lot left in the tank when he was with Seattle.
Yeah, man. He reminded me a lot of Ray Rice, kind of like just one of them like kind of stocky, stumpy type dudes that just have a way of keeping their balance and keeping their legs moving. Like I think he would be. I keep screaming for this. I want to see Gio and Mixon that, or I'd like to see Mixon and Rawls and guys and Walton, like just a 2 backs in the backfield sometimes. Because I mean, right. Like, I think like that's definitely one of our strengths this year is our running backs, man.
Right. Let me ask y'all this, man. What do y'all think about Auden Tate, and when do you think that he'll get a chance to possibly be active? Y'all think he's going to be active this year? Because I almost thought that it would be like if you were to activate him for any game, I would think it would be when John Ross is out. But obviously he wasn't active today. Do y'all see him getting a leash like sometime during the season, or is he just going to be inactive this year?
I thought he was going to go since Eifert was there. I'm like, I could actually see them putting him in tight end formations due to, he's a nice size receiver. And right. I mean, we really don't. I mean, of course, they would know better than us as far as his blocking skills and stuff like that. But I mean, at least for short yardages and sure hands, or even goal line, I thought they'd probably have him in some plays like that. But I mean, from the looks like right now, I mean, I guess they're comfortable, laser comfortable with with the folks he running with now, such as Core and who's the what's the call? I can't think of his damn name.
Josh Malone.
Yeah, Malone and stuff like that. Yeah. So
Yeah, man. I hate to say it, sound like one of them crazy fans. I'm a Madden owner, but yeah, we can sit Hardy Nickerson ass down and activate Auden Tate all day. I would definitely love to see him get a chance to play. If it's a receiver, but I would like to see him get a chance at tight end and not necessarily like traditional sets of him being directly on the line, but if we can line him up off the line of scrimmage, that or get him in the slot at times, man, I would love to see him get a chance. And it's like what I like I said, like when I watched CJ Uzama and I watched Croft, like I think a lot of their ability is on them screen passes and things like that. But as far as vertical threats and Croft still makes me nervous as far as him being in the air and having to give his body up. Like he still doesn't seem that much comfortable to it. And then also CJ Uzama, like his ball security kind of makes me a little nervous. But
Right.
yeah, like I think just on a vertical threat and goal line, it's like when you draft these guys, man, and you got that talent, you got to just find ways of getting them on that field. And I
Right.
thought that today with Ross being out, I thought that we were going to see Auden Tate. But yeah, man, I would love to see him on goal line, and I would love to see him in the slot some and just lined up off the line of scrimmage.
Cool. So one last thing before we get out of here, fellas. Obviously, after we just got this win going 4-1, the season has been a good start. It's Steelers week. What are y'all predictions for Steelers week? What do y'all think will be the result of this game? What do we have to look out for? Obviously, this is probably one of our most important games on the season schedule. Do you guys think that anything changes this year?
I do. I think that they come out attacking the Steelers, whatever. I think Laser gonna whatever set Dalton up for far success to be able to attack the Steelers secondary. I think Mixon gonna get off, and I think whatever and everything with the return of Burfict, whatever, he knows how this week is and how important this is. I think the intensity, the detail, for us that's gonna go in this week is gonna be on a whole nother level. Everybody going it's gonna be a game that everybody gonna have to get up for. But it's right now. This game is, even though we 4-1, if we lost it, we whatever and everything, it wouldn't kill us. But it's a game that mentally I think will push us over the edge. That it'd be like, okay, whatever. And for the guys that's already been there, it's a game to push them over the edge to say it's our time. This is our division, and that's what it is.
What you
Uh,
think, B Stakes?
Man, it's a new year, bruh. Flat out, it's a new year. Realistically, I think like you said, like this game is a statement game, and it could put the whole NFL on notice because like when we beat the Ravens, everybody knows that we play the Ravens well, and it's we're pretty much their kryptonite, honestly. But
Right.
with the Steelers, I think it's always just a mental thing. And like you said, like Nardo said, like this has to be a week of detail. And it's like you can't give up them big plays. You can't get down early playing them because like I said, like this is mental warfare when you play the Steelers. And it's like I just feel like with the things that they do to us, what I'm interested in is like for the past 2 seasons, we miss having a safety like Reggie Nelson in that secondary. And like really like we gonna see if Jesse Bates can have a hell of a game. I think this is the game for him to have it. And because out of everybody that we play, Pittsburgh, they play against what we do well. Like we're a smash mouth team, so it's like they're going to be looking to spread us out and different things like that and get us in space. But I feel like guys having like guys like Preston Brown, having guys like Hubbard. these are Ohio Cincinnati guys. Like that's adding like gasoline to the fire for real. So it's just like,
Right.
man, hey, bro, like it's the time is now to punch them in their mouths early, bro, early.
Right.
And to be going 5-1 until what's that bye week?
Huge.
Man.
Huge.
I think like y'all both said, this is an important game just from a mental standpoint. If we can get this W, like Nardo just said, 5-1 into a bye, like I don't think anybody could have said that they would have expected us to be 5-1 going into a bye week, especially because when we play Pittsburgh, are they coming to our house? They coming to our house?
They come to PBS.
PBS, yeah, that's definitely because the last couple of times they've kind of beat us at PBS, so we need to take that mental step too and go ahead and get that W on our home field in front of our fans and just wrap up that division. Because I feel like low key, if they would have lost to Atlanta today, I think they would have been dead. I think they would have probably gave up on the season. So I think we just need to. I think if we beat them, that could really cause their whole team to implode, especially like with the whole AB situation going on with the coordinator. I think that could be the tipping edge to having them have a horrible season this year.
I agree. I totally agree. It's an important game. You could and right now, whatever and everything, that you could tell that the city. I mean, the Dolphin game was good or whatever, but you could tell now the city. Even the city could get up for this. I mean, as far as the city of Cincinnati, whatever, and you see the thing pop on your phone saying the Steelers week, and wait till tomorrow it's gonna pick up even tomorrow. It should. I mean, it's probably one of the most intense games to ever go to, as far as a Bengal fan, because it's right. Just from the game itself into dealing with the Steelers fans itself. It's crazy. It's crazy. People. I tell people all the time, they wonder why it's like high security at this game. It's gonna be fights. You're gonna get it all. This game, you're gonna get the whole package. It's gonna be whatever and everything. It's players don't like it's from players don't like the other team to fans don't like their team or they goddamn fans. It's intense, man. It's intense.
I think to me, honestly, I think it's the biggest rivalry in the NFL, low key. I think it really is.
It is. Put it like this: the last game that was at PBS, whatever, 2 incidents happened. One guy got urinated on. A Pittsburgh fan got urinated on.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and then a Pittsburgh fan got arrested and was in the news and said that the COs at the jail refused to feed him because he's a Pittsburgh fan.
Hey, so that's what his ass deserves. Starve his ass, man.
So that just tell y'all like right there, like people whatever, like be like, oh, it's respectable, but no, it ain't.
Nah, it's no respect.
It really has no boundaries. It really has no boundaries. Whatever. The hatred is on a whole nother level. It is. It is, man. It is. It is. Whatever. It's probably one of the most expensive games to go to right now. I mean, the tickets, shit. Due to the win today, I know they probably gonna jack the motherfuckers up another $25 to $50 more, even $75 in some areas, whatever. Just on top of what they was already jacking them up for, because everybody knows that it's real live, it's drama, it's real live drama down there.
Right, it's still is weak. Well, I appreciate Nardo and B Stapes coming on for me this evening, and hopefully we can do this probably, I'm thinking mid-season or something like that. We can meet back up again and discuss the rest of the season. But as usual, we'll leave you guys with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.